Hi, I'm Bet from Bet's Makes, and today we're going to be making this beautiful little pencil topper. This is a perfect little project for back to school, and here's an example of one that you can make with ease. So let's get started. Going to start with a new project. I'm just going to replace this one, and I'm going to turn on my grid lines. So we're going to start with an upload into Design Space, and this upload is called Floral Pencil Topper, and you will find it in the resource library in our free membership site and also our paid membership site. So you'll find this in the resource library. I'm just going to open this one up. This is an SVG file. I'm going to add it to the canvas. Now, this pencil topper is fairly large, so if you have a smaller one, you can always cut down the size. I'm simply going to ungroup this right now. And there are basic parts here. There are 8 petals. There is the topper with the leaf, and then, of course, the flower backing itself. And the supplies you're going to need for this, and I will just type them into the screen here at the same time. And let me just move this over here so we can see the text. Okay, for our supplies, I used a foam sheet, 2 colors. I also used glue, and that is about it. Now, we're going to have to do some setup for all of this as we go through. Now, I'm not going to cut and paste all of my text here, so I am just going to hide it from the screen. So all we have to do with this particular project is click over to make it. There's nothing you have to do in Design Space. I am going to move these down because I'm cutting my foam sheets into smaller pieces. Let me just bring this down here. I've given myself about 3 inches, so I'm just going to move some of these over so that I can use smaller pieces of paper. I'm just going to move this one over, just so I stay within the 3-inch mark. That looks pretty good. I could be a lot tighter with this design if I wanted to. So I can just move these into position so that we're using less of the foam and less wasted material. Just up into here. And then finally, I will move this last piece right in here. Okay, that looks good. I'm not going to need a lot of material, so we're going to continue. And today I'm going to be using my Maker 3. Now what you're going to do is you're going to set this up as a foam sheet, and you may want to add some extra passes. What I suggest you do is take one small piece and do a test cut to see if it goes through. If it doesn't, then you're going to want several passes. Depends on the thickness of the material you have. I'm just going to type in foam here and search for any foam sheets. Now I have a foam sheet thick that I have put in myself with 275 pressure and 6 passes. So you may want to try something like that as for your own, but for now, I'm just using a thick foam sheet, and you can choose any of these other craft foams in order to get yours to go. So I'm just selecting that. I'm going to click on done. And all I have to do now is go over and change the paper setting over to my foam setting. So it's really important that we get with the foam piece of it. So we're going to go over to the machine now. So let me just go over to our desktop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my share here, and we're going right over onto the desktop, and we're going to see everything that's going on right here. Now I have these foam sheets. I bought them in the package at the dollar store with all kinds of different, and it's fairly thick. That's why I decided that 6 passes is going to work well with it. I've chosen a couple of colors. My leaf is going to be yellow and my flower is going to be orange. The sample that I did was in pink and green, so it doesn't matter which way that you do it. It's going to be easy enough in order to make your pencil work. So I have put on an 8.5 by 11 and then a smaller piece up to the 3-inch mark here so that it will grab all the pieces that I want. And my machine is ready to go here. I just load my mat. There's nothing really special. I mean, you can add your own materials at any time. And we are ready to go. All right, everything is cut. I'm going to release my mat and I'm just going to shut it and move it out of the way so we have some room to work with our project. Now, when we're going to put this together, it's going to be fairly easy. Now, I'm going to pull this away because you have to make sure that things come off exactly the way you want them to. Careful not to rip. There we go, just a bit by bit. The foam I'm working with here is quite thick, and that's why we had to have so many different passes. And I had set it up for 6 passes, which seems to work out just fine. So this is the back, my flower. So I've got that part ready. And then we have the other foam piece right here. I just put my mat out of the way so we can work with this. I'm just going to pull off the backing first. You could use a weeding tool if you wanted to, but I don't see the reason for that. We can just pull all these pieces off. Now today, when we go to glue all of this together, I'm going to use a very simple glue. I'm just going to use a craft glue. I don't need anything stronger. You can use a white glue, a glue stick, whatever is going to hold your foam pieces together. One other thing, of course, I didn't mention before is you need a pencil. And I've decided on a small decoration for the center of my flower, just as I have on it here. Now, the secret behind this is you want to glue this about, 3/4 of an inch to an inch down on the pencil. So I'm going to take my craft glue here, and this is just a plain craft glue. It is called premium craft glue. So that's all there is to that one. Just let it move down here. I'm going to glue it to the pencil. Let me just get some of the glue here. This is really easy to put together. So I'm just going to make a little bead down here. And the other important part is the other end. I'm going to put a little bit up the middle here so that it stays with the pencil. Just put the lid back on. All right, about an inch in. Now it's just going to have to dry for a little bit as you roll it together. Try to be pretty tight when you roll it. It's going to be fairly fat when you finish. It is gluing to the pencil, so not to worry too much about how tight it is. There we go. I'm just going to have that dry. And this will actually dry to the pencil right at the top here. Just want to hold on to that, and I'm going to say what I've got for a clamp so I can hold it together. Have some of these big alligator clamps that'll help. That's just to hold it. Whoops. Don't want to move it too much. Keep it fairly straight. Too much pressure. There. And that's just to hold it together so that it glues in place. And I'm just going to wait for it to be tacky. Now, the next thing we want to do is put together our flower with the petals. And it's actually pretty easy because I'm going to apply glue in the center here and add 4 petals and then add the next 4. We're only gluing it in the center. Just flatten it a little bit here. All right, our next little job is to make sure that this isn't going to slide too far. Just add a little extra glue here to make sure it stays into place. It does take a little while to dry, so don't rush through this, but all we need to do now, and I see this is coming apart a little bit, so I'm just going to add some extra glue. And I'm going to add some glue right to the bottom here. Come on, glue, come on out. There we go. This last little blob of glue here is for us to apply the flower. Everything's quite wet right now. Just going to hold that into place. I'll move that one out of position because now you have everything together. Now, once everything is dried like this one, you can actually create little bends in the flower petals in order to make it look like it is more 3D. And that is it for this flower project. And this is a great little pencil topper. You can make several of them. They're a lot of fun to put together. And it's great to put into a school pack when you've got all these great little pens and pencils. Now, we have other flower making videos that are available. So take a look at our paper flower challenge, and you should have a lot of fun with that. And until next time, happy crafting.